So, let's get started. What do you think?
That's good.
Yeah, okay, there you go. We've come a little bit. That's good. So, my name is Ruth, and I've been here now for 3 years. As Erratic Rock as a company, has been here for 11 years. And I'm going to do this talk in English. I hope that's fine for everybody. Yeah, where are you guys from? Let's say, is there anyone here from South America? People from South America? Okay, well, let's just start. North America. Okay, very good. They all speak English. Pretty sure. Do we have maybe Australia or New Zealand? Okay, very cool. Do we have Asia? Do we have Africa? Europe. That's the rest. Okay, very good. And from Europe, who is there from, let's say, Holland? No. Okay, Germany. Switzerland. Italy. Belgium. France. What do we have? Norway, Sweden, Denmark. What else do we have?
England.
England. Ah, there you go. Is there anyone I missed? Where are you guys from?
Israel.
Is that a continent? I'm kidding. What is that? Asia, right? Officially? Middle East. Oh, either one. Very good. Cool. So, welcome to everybody. Let's get started. Next to me, the map of the park, right here. This green line is the border of the national park. It's 227,000 hectares big, so it's a big national park. And well, if you look at this map, you already see some trails marked, right? Yellow trail over here. I think everyone can imagine why we call this a W. Yeah, it looks like a giant W. This is one of the main trails there is in the park. Yeah, who is here to do W? Some hands. Okay, very cool. Then on the map you see a red trail, this one. This red trail that we call the backside. If you add the backside onto the W, it's what we call the circuit, right? Also all makes sense, I think. Who's here to do the circuit? Cool. Then there's one more trail right here. This is what we like to call the tail, yeah? If you add this on to the W and the backside, you're doing the Q. Yeah, also makes sense, I think. So it's a little bit about the trails in the park. Is there anyone here who doesn't have a clue yet? No one. Okay, well, I would say very good. I'm going to start off with mainly information about the W, then I'll continue with information about the backside. If you combine the two of them, you'll have the circuit or the Q. But right now, we are in Puerto Natales. And Puerto Natales is not on this map, right? Puerto Natales is located more or less there, 80 kilometers in a straight line until you arrive at the border of the national park, and more or less 150 kilometers of road for you to get from here to the entrance, which is here. Laguna Amarga, main entrance of the park. And easiest way to get yourself from here to the park is going to be public buses. Every day there's multiple buses going from Puerto Natales to the park and back. This means at the bus terminal at 7:30 the first buses are leaving to the park. Yeah, these are the morning buses. There's also an afternoon bus who will leave at 2:30. So these buses will leave from the bus terminal. There's only one bus terminal in town, so if you came in Puerto Natales by bus, this is the same place where the bus will leave to go to the park. Yeah, that's all easy. A normal price to pay for your bus ticket is going to be 15,000 Chilean pesos. Normal price. If you have 14,000 pesos, you did good. 13, awesome. 12, great. But below 12, you should at least check the times on your ticket and make sure that it actually works with everything else in the park. Yeah? Then, you can buy these tickets, of course, at the bus terminal. But also every hostel has like a bus company they're friendly with and they can maybe give you a deal or something. So check out your hostel as well. And then, as well, we sell bus tickets right over there. I like to go in the morning with the buses, and there's one bus company who leaves a little later in the morning, which is 7:50. I don't know about you guys, but to me, in the morning, 20 more minutes helps, right? So I like to take the 7:50 bus. If you want, ask at the bus terminal for Via Paine, or you can buy your ticket here in the rental desk after the talk. But all these buses are going to do more or less the same trail to the park. Right? This means they start, let's say we take the 7:50 bus, right? 7:50 in the morning, you'll take the bus, start heading to the park. This will bring you to the entrance, and well, 150 kilometers of road means that you arrive at the entrance about 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah? Entrance, bus stop number 1. The bus will stop here. There's the option of getting off. Yeah? Bus number 1, Laguna Amarga, 10 o'clock. Then the bus will keep on going after that to Pureto, where it will stop around 11 o'clock. Bus stop number 2, Pureto, 11 then the bus will keep on going even further down to to the administration. And at the administration, bus stop number 3, it will stop around 12. Right? 12 o'clock, bus driver will have some time for lunch and stuff. At 1 o'clock, it will turn around and do the exact same road back. Right? So it will leave here around 1, the administration, back to Puerto where it arrives at 2. And then at 3 o'clock, it will leave again, Laguna Marga, the entrance, to go back to Puerto Natales, where you will arrive around 5. Right? So it's more or less the bus schedule. Everywhere on this trail, you are allowed to hop on and off the bus. It's all included in that 15,000 peso bus ticket. It's a round trip ticket, so the way up there, the way back, you don't need a reservation. Just buy your ticket and that's enough. And you don't need to know the date that you come back either. It's open-ended. So that's very nice. So, this is how to get to the park. But if you pay attention to everything I have just been saying, that you see that the bus is here, but the trails are there. The bus and the trail do not meet, which means you're in the park but you're not there yet. You need some sort of other transportation to get yourself to the actual trail. And for this, then there's a lot of different options. Yeah, I'm gonna then again get you over the main options. Option number 1 will connect you with Laguna Marga bus stop number 1. You have the bus arrives here at 10 o'clock, and if you get off the bus, there is these mini shuttles standing, these little transfer buses who will take you from Laguna Marga, the entrance, to Refugio Las Torres, where you actually hit the trail. Right? This mini shuttle costs 2,800 pesos. No reservation, just pay the bus driver. So, as option number 1, we'll bring you to Refugio Las Torres, where you can start at W, for example, going from east to west. Right? Option number 1. Option number 2, Laguna Marga, you arrive, but you stay on the bus to Pureto, where you get off for bus stop number 2. Pureto is the place where you can take the catamaran. There's a boat who will run to the other side of Lago Pewe to Paine Grande. And Paine Grande is where you can start at W, going from west to east. Right? This boat costs 15,000 pesos. One-way ticket, no reservation needed, you pay the boat while the boat is sailing. Then, if you're planning on doing a round trip ticket for this boat, this means you're either doing day trips or a circuit or a queue or something else. If you want a round trip ticket, you can buy this in advance for 25,000 pesos. Well, not in advance, but when you get in the boat the first time. So, option number 2, we'll lead you to Paine Grande, start at W, go west to east. Option number 3, all the way down to the administration, and here you get off the bus. And from here, you can hike yourself into the park by doing the tail. This trail, 5 hours, more or less 17 kilometers, will bring you as well to Paine Grande, where then again you can start at W, going west to east, right? But 5 hours does mean that it's very likely to add an entire day to your hike, right? So, but consider it, it's a very nice walk. So, quick catchback for everybody who wanted to write that down and didn't catch it. Option 1, 2,800 pesos for a mini shuttle. Option number 2, 15,000 pesos for the boat to Paine Grande. And option number 3, hiking yourself into the park by doing the tail for free. Awesome. So, 3 options of getting yourself to the actual trail. Then, next question is where to spend the nights. And also for this, there is a ton of different options. We have everything in between free campsites up till $1,000 a night hotels. Well, since we're here at the free information talk, I assume you're not that interested in $1,000 a night hotels, so I'm going to talk about refugios, paid campsites, and free campsites. Sounds good? Yes. So, refugios. Refugios are more or less like hostels in the park. Yeah, you can. If you book a refugio, you have to make a reservation. But if you book a refugio, you get an actual bed. There are showers, electricity, lights, inside, heating, all that kind of stuff. It's like a hostel, right? An actual house. If you want to spend the night in a refugio, you need a reservation. It's still high season. This means they're all open. So for W, that will be Refugio Grey, Refugio Paine Grande, Refugio Los Cuernos, Refugio Las Torres, and Refugio Chileno. 5 refugios on the W, all open. You need reservations. On the back side, there's also one refugio, which is here, Refugio Dixon. Yeah, so those are the refugios, and you can make reservations online on their websites, or go in town to their agencies or travel agencies that can help. All of them can help you out making reservations for the refugios. But then, every refugio will have a paid campsite next to it. This means just a place where you're allowed to ditch your tent. If you bring your own tent, you can just arrive, set up your tent, go inside and pay the refugio. You pay between 5 up till 9,000 pesos per person. Yeah, normal price to pay. This is per person. Yeah, important detail, not per tent. But then, since at this point you are a paying customer of the refugio, this means that you're also allowed to use all the refugio services, right? Hot shower, electricity, places inside, all that kind of stuff is also there for you since you pay the refugio. Also, very good idea to actually pay. Yeah, it looks like maybe they will not come out and not check your tent. The only thing is they do that at like 12 o'clock at night. 12 o'clock they'll go walk their round and look for the stickers they have to put in your tent. So if you paid and you did not put the sticker on your tent, make sure you're gonna put the sticker in the tent because they're gonna wake you up at 12 o'clock, ask you for your sticker, right? So make sure you put it somewhere where they can see. That will save you the night rest. So that's a little bit about the paid campsites. Then there's free campsites in the park, and free campsites always makes everybody excited. Right now, free campsites, the only ones who are left are Italiano, here in the W. There is Campamento Las Torres. There is Paso, Campamento Paso, and Las Caretas on the tail. Right, so 4 campsites, 1 here on the tail, Las Caretas, 2 on the W who are Italiano and Torres, and 1 on the backside which is Campamento Paso. For these, you don't need reservations except for Torres. Torres changed their rules this year, and they now ask everybody who wants to stay there to make a reservation. You can do this in town in their CONAF office, which is 1 block up that direction, or you do this at the entrance or at the other free campsite Italiano. Yeah, all that is totally possible. Just make sure you make a reservation before you get there. Then, free campsites means that you're seriously camping next to a sign, camping. Yeah, but that's it. There's not going to be a house there where you can cook, where there is a cook and where you can sit inside and dry out your gear. There's not going to be anything like that there. The only thing you're going to find there is going to be a little drop toilet house. You know, like a little, fancy hole in the ground, really, that's what it is. No toilet paper, anything like this, so make sure you bring that. Also a very important detail. And at the free camps, they're going to have these rain shelters. And these rain shelters are actually very important. They have everything to do with the fire prevention of the park. I don't know if you guys heard, but 3 years ago we had a very big fire in the park. Started here at Rio Olgin and burned down all this area. 17,000 hectares of the park burned down, which anywhere in the world would be really sad, right? Forest fires are just really sad, but in some places it's kind of part of the natural circle. Here in Patagonia, it's not. We do not know natural fires. We don't have lightning or something. It's not warm enough or anything to make actual fires here. So a fire for the park is very destructive, and nature has no clue of growing back or something. It's going to take at least 30 years before the trees are actually going to start growing again. Yes, it's very, very bad. But this means that everybody in the park is also very scared about fires. So anything that has to do with fire is not allowed in the park. This goes, of course, for campfires, but this goes all the way up till smoking a cigarette. Yeah, you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes on the trail. All that kind of stuff is not allowed. And this is also why these rain shelters are very important. These rain shelters are the only place in the park where you're actually allowed to light your lighter. This means if you want to smoke a cigarette or use your stove, you have to be in one of these rain shelters. Well, I always see some very worrying views. Maybe we have some smokers among us. Don't worry, you don't have to stop. Yeah, there's rain covers every 4 hours, so you can work it out and make your breaks there and all that kind of stuff. But of course, great excuse to stop anyway. But yeah, so that's a little bit about the fire rules and park rules. Then there is the trails. And before I start with the trails, I would like to let everybody know that Torres del Paine National Park does not have a search and rescue service, right? So don't get lost. It's more or less what it comes down to. But this also means, the trails are really well marked. There's orange poles sticking this out of the ground every 500 meters. There's red dots in the trees. You go into the forest. There's elevation signs this big with the elevation where you are on the trail and a timetable to your next campsite. If you get lost, you're a moron. It really, it's not that difficult. But I think that everybody knows that there's some people out there with very special talents of somehow getting themselves on trail. I see some people recognize themselves, no worries. The good news is, let's say somehow right there, you got yourself off the trail. And you start walking to the left. You go up for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, you're gonna hit a gigantic mountain. You are not gonna climb this thing, I can tell you. Yeah, you will turn around to find back the trail. You don't have a camp. 5 minutes after you hit a huge lake, there's nowhere for you to go. You will find camp. And, so no worries about getting lost. But this means, let's say we get started. Yeah, you get on the boat or on the bus, and you get on the trail, and when you see the trail, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, she's right. The trail is this wide, this steep, people before you, behind you. If I get lost, I must be an idiot. Yeah, this is really easy. You start walking, and after 5 minutes, I mean, people before you kind of left, people behind you, you left behind, there you're by yourself. You're like, oh, this is really nice. And then 10 minutes after that, your trail splits up in 5 different routes. And you're like, oh, you get your map. You don't see 5 different routes. You go, oh man, I must be one of those idiots. I'm actually going to get myself lost in this park. Well, don't worry. Any of these 5 trails you see were made by someone who thought they knew a better way to the exact same spot. Any of these 5 trails are going to make you end up at camp, maybe a little bit more muddy. Yeah, after 5 minutes you realize why it was on a trail. You're this deep in the mud. But at that moment, people tend to just keep on walking anyway. So, what happens? You arrive at a spot. 5 trails, and you're like, oh yeah, she told me about this, I can take any one I want. And you go, I'll go, let's say, to the left. And you start walking left. And after 5 minutes, sure enough, you picked the wrong trail. Big mud puddle in the middle of the trail. And well, what am I going to do now? I mean, I can tell you, almost no one will actually walk back and try a different trail. Yeah, that's just not what happens because there's 5 other options. You don't want to go back and try. So people tend to be like, well, you know what? She told me it was very hard to get lost. So you know what I do? Just get off the trail, walk around the mud puddle, and jump back onto the trail. And that sounds like a great idea for you. The only thing that you have to be realizing is that at this moment you're at the same spot as those other 5 people. You're making trail number 6. Yeah, if one person is walking around, it doesn't matter. But the next person coming to the same spot is going to be like, oh, someone walked there, I'll go there too. And ups, there you go, and you have a new trail. I really ask you to stay on the trail. Not because I'm scared you're going to get lost. I'm not so scared you're going to get lost. The main scare for me is that this park is going to be only trails in a couple of years. So stay on the trail just to save the national park. That will be really, really helpful. Okay, then. Maybe, but I do mean that you're walking the trail, and before you, 12 people stop. And all these 12 people are like this. They're all looking at the water because they have no clue how to get to the other side. Well, in between these 12 people, there's always one of those tough guys, big backpack, I'll go first. And everyone's like, okay, come on, you can do this. And the person goes back, starts running, jumps. Everyone's like, whoa, you made it, yay, awesome. At that moment, all these other 11 people still have to go. And I can tell you, it might be you, or the person standing next to you, but some of that group are going to walk back. Start running. You jump, and you don't make it all the way to the end. You have 1 wet foot. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if there's anything more annoying to me than 2 wet feet, it's 1 wet foot. Yeah, it's really, really annoying. So my suggestion is don't do the jumping thing. Then there's these people who do the balancing thing. Pop on one rock and balancing. Backpack and wind and everything, and next stop, and then next stop. Well, I can tell you, one of these times in the park that's not gonna go right, you will be blown off that rock, and you will fall on your butt in the water soaking wet. Not that much fun either. So what I do, and of course, you can either take it or leave it. I will not be insulted if you don't do it this way. But what I do, I walk on the trail, and the first, smallest mud puddle I see that day, everybody will walk around on the side and on the other side and kind of hang on a tree halfway to get on the side. There I go. Plop, plop. Get your feet in the water. Get the whole dry feet thing out of your head. You will arrive at camp and you will survive. It's not going to be the end of the world. It is definitely not the most fun thing, but it will save you in the end hours of walking. Yeah, people are going to arrive at water and they're going to look and they're going to look and they walk up a little bit and down a little bit and they do the balancing and the jumping. Most of those people are going to end up with wet feet anyway, and they spend an hour that day just walking up and down and finding the best spot to cross and all that kind of stuff. So my suggestion is just deal with it, be prepared for it, and then at camp, that's where you take care of yourself, right? So this is at least the way I like to do this. Don't worry, I'll talk about equipment later as well. So, but this was pretty bad news, huh? So, ready for some good news?
Sure.
The good news is the water in Patagonia is amazing. I mean, no filters, no tablets, no purification pills. I mean, nothing like this. Yeah, you seriously, I mean, the water is awesome. You can seriously get on your knees and drink like a dog. It's that good. Yeah, you don't need anything like this. And there's water crossings every 15 minutes. This means you do not need to carry 2 liters of water with you. I fill a W with seriously a cup. Fill and drink, and that's how I go. There's that much water everywhere, and the water is awesome. Who of you ever drink like a dog, like on their knees, water? Any of you? Hands up. Okay, very good. Everybody who did not do that, that's one of those checklist things. You have to do it once in your life, so get on your knees. But yeah, no, there's water everywhere, and you don't need to carry all this stuff. The only place you have to be careful with water is going to be camp, yeah, because of the other people who are there more than the water itself. So also, if you see someone doing stuff with water, like doing dishes with soap and stuff like that, or I don't know why, but somehow water is very attractive to pee in. I don't know why, but very attractive. But if you see anyone doing anything like this, just let them know that everybody, including themselves, is using that water after that, right? So give each other a heads up and, well, keep the water good. I guess this is a whole bunch of random info. I'm getting ready for itineraries. Is there any questions before I go there? No one? God, nobody critical? Okay, well, itineraries then. Starting off with the W itinerary. As I told you, I like to take the 750 bus. I definitely enjoy those 20 minutes in the morning. So 750 at the bus terminal, ready to go. Dump my backpack, jump on the bus. The bus will take me west for 1 hour, and after 1 hour, we'll stop in a little town called Cerro Castillo. This is just a pee break. Yeah, if you're sleeping, you don't have to get off the bus. You can just keep on sleeping. You're gonna arrive at the park. So 10-minute break. Park. The bus keeps on going, and it will arrive Laguna Marga at 10 o'clock. At this stop, Laguna Marga, they will make everybody go off the bus. And this is just because you have to go in and pay the entrance fee, right? The bus will wait, so don't worry. But you have to go off the bus, pay the entrance fee, which is 18,000 Chilean pesos. Is there anyone here with the Chilean ID card? Okay, then 18,000 is for everybody. I will not tell you how much they pay. So 18,000. You also as well have to fill out a white little paper with your passport number, what you're gonna do for how long, with who, when you're coming back, all that kind of information. As I said, there is no search and rescue in the park. This means if you forgot your passport number or you do not know how many days you're going, don't worry. Yeah, no one's gonna look for you anyway, so it's just statistics. Then you give this to the guy behind the counter, pay the entrance fee. In return, you're gonna get a map of the area. You don't need to buy a map in town. The map you get is totally sufficient. It's not the best map, but it's sufficient. And as well, it's not a waterproof map either. Yeah, so a Ziploc bag or something for your map, you will probably highly appreciate. Then you're gonna watch a little 2-minute movie about fire prevention and park rules. It's more or less the same as I already explained, but just to give you a reminder and make sure everybody knows and you have no excuses of forgetting anything like that. And you'll be ready to head to the trail after that. Well, at the entrance, the buses were waiting here, so from here you have the option of either take the mini shuttle or keep on the bus and take either of the other options. For me, I like to do the W, going from west to east, in 4 nights and 5 days, with as much free campsites as possible. So this means this is the way I'm going to explain this. If you have any other plans, write with me, because I'm going to include in this itinerary all the distances and prices and different places to spend on the way as well, right? So write it down, and after that you have all the information you need to make your own trek after that. So at the entrance, I'm going to get back on the bus. Yeah, I'm going to go west to east, so back on the bus, and I get off at Puneto. I arrive here at 11, and the boat will leave around 12, which means there's some time there. A lot of people like to go for lunch. I like to go up and see the waterfall. More or less 15 minutes away from there, there's a very cool waterfall called Salto Grande. So I dump my backpack, hike up to the waterfall, spend some time at the waterfall, make my way back, grab my backpack, and then 5 more minutes to go from the place where the bus drops you off to the boat. So, I don't know if you've ever been on a boat before, but if you ever have been on a boat before and you see a boat arrive, you can always see some of those people start fighting. Yeah, because people like to be first in line because they want the best spot on the boat. Well, what happens? Maybe you were first. Maybe you were one of the people, you're like, yes, I made it first in line, awesome, best spot, this is great. Boat arrives, you jump on the boat, dump your backpack, and run for the best seat on the boat. Then you look at everybody else coming on the boat and you're like, oh man, I have the best spot, this is great. But you realize that everybody else is throwing their backpack on top of your backpack. Which means your backpack is the last backpack to leave that boat, which is not what you want, right? So, my suggestion, let everybody go in the boat first. The last person on the boat are you dump your backpack on top of my backpack, and then you go for seeing the boat. And now you think you're really smart. You know, last on the boat, you're like, this is great. You dump your backpack, you turn around, there's no seats left. Like, whoa. I mean, that was not totally necessary either, right? So you end up standing next to the door. Hold on a second, because after 2 minutes, the boat will start leaving, and they'll open up the roof. Guess who's standing right next to that door? Awesome. Best spot on the boat, on the roof, backpack on top, off the boat first. Definitely the way to go, I think. Then, little detail. You paint this boat while the boat is sailing, right? And you do not have your backpack while the boat is sailing. So make sure you have 15,000 pesos in your pockets. It's going to save you a whole bunch of waiting and doing all that kind of stuff. So, get yourself to the other side, Paine Grande. You'll arrive there around 12:30. And from there, what I do, I like to just get started immediately. I already have half an hour on the boat. So tie your shoes, get your backpack on, and hike out. 11 kilometers and more or less 3.5 hours to Refugio Grey for night number 1. Yeah, this is a paid campsite in Refugio, 11 kilometers and 3.5 hours this day. And, well, if you do the calculation with me, 12:30 the boat arrives. 3.5 hours later, you're going to get at camp, which means it's 4 o'clock. That's pretty early to me to arrive at camp, right? So what I do, set up my tent, throw my stuff in my tent, and I keep on walking. I keep on walking more or less an hour and a half further to the old campsite, Las Guardas. Las Guardas does not exist anymore as a campsite, but you can still walk up to there and get yourself some really cool views from on top of the glacier. Yeah, you'll go up along the glacier, which means when you get to Las Guardas, you get views like seriously on top of the glacier right into the cracks. It's really, really cool. Hang out there for a little bit, come back, eat some dinner, and then at night I always like to get myself to this little peninsula, which will bring you right in front of Glacier Grey, right? All the way down to the water where the icebergs are floating in the water and coming on the beach. You're 2 kilometers away from the glacier. Really, really pretty views. Definitely good place to hang out for a little bit. So, day number 1. Are you getting excited?
I think I need more paper.
No worries, there's some paper over there. Cool. So, that would be day number 1. Day number 2, we're gonna go back from Refugio Grey back to Paine Grande, and from there 2 more hours up, 8 more kilometers to Campamento Italiano. This means total of this day is gonna be 19 kilometers and more or less 6 hours. Then, backtracking. For most people, doesn't sound that cool, right? You've already seen that, you've already been there, why would you do that again? Well, the cool thing is, I think backtracking is not that bad at all. I mean, first of all, you're doing a W, so you are going to go up and back. But second of all, day number 1, you are going to see the glacier. The only thing you're looking at is that glacier. The glacier is beautiful, it's awesome, and that's what you're focused on. The way back, you're not looking at the glacier, which means you actually look at the other stuff, which is beautiful, like snow-peaked mountains on the other side of the lake. There's a huge mountain right here, highest mountain in Torres del Paine area, 3,015 meters high, called Paine Grande. You're walking right below that mountain, and I mean, 3,015 meters. Maybe some of you are from, I don't know, Switzerland or something, and you're like, yeah, well, that's not that high. I'm from Holland. That's really high for me. But next to all that, you're walking at 50 meters above sea level. This means this mountain actually shoots up into the sky. 3,000 meters right next to you, which I think is really impressive to anyone from anywhere in this region. So you'll be walking around this mountain the entire day, arriving at Campamento Italiano for night number 2. Free campsites, Italiano. This means if you want to spend the night there, you need to be totally self-sufficient. Okay, day number 3. And, well, you're probably already going to hear this about the way I talk about it, but day number 3 is my personal favorite. I love day number 3. We're going to Valle Frances, which is a very cool valley, right here in the middle of the mountain range. And, well, first of all, you have beautiful views of a little bit of everything there. Yeah, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you might be awoken by sounds of thunder, because there is a huge hanging glacier on Mount Paine Grande, right here. And you guys know what a hanging glacier is? No? Okay. Well, if I say a normal glacier, this will be like a river of ice, right? A moving river of ice is what a glacier, that's why it's called a glacier. if I say a hanging glacier, this means that there's a frozen river coming off a mountain. Mountain stops somewhere, and the river of ice will keep on growing. At a certain point, this will be too heavy, and it will not keep on just growing, it will fall. This means right here, this spot, you can see pieces of ice as big as houses fall for 200 meters, crashing off the glacier below, avalanches, all that kind of stuff, sounds of thunder, really, really cool. And if you're lucky, you have good weather, this happens about every 20 minutes. Yeah, it's really, really nice. So you'll be walking on one side, you'll have that stuff happening. On the other side, you have the Cuernos, who are two color green mountains, steep to even hold snow, sticking out of the ground 2,000 meters right next to you. You're walking in between these super different views, and I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, very cool part about this trail is that every 10 minutes you have a beautiful viewpoint. Yeah, so if you go for an hour, you get to the big viewpoint, the actual mirador, how they say that, and this will bring you right in front of Glacier Francais and right below the Cuernos, so you have really cool views. But if time and energy and weather allow you, my recommendation is keep on going an hour and a half further, all the way to the top. Yeah, this is one of the higher points in the valley, and you'll get yourself around Mount Pane Grande and around the Cuernos, which means you get yourself in what we call the shield. Right here, all these mountains you see, they're granite peaks. I know we have climbers among us. It is paradise. 2,000 meters walls everywhere you look around you. It's really, really cool. You're surrounded by all of that, and when you think you're ready, you saw it all to leave that trail, you turn around and you start walking out of the park. You'll see out of the valley, you'll see all these different cool colored blue lakes in front of each other. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a beautiful day. But you can tell me what was your favorite when you come back. We'll see then. This means 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours down. Both of them are 5 kilometers, but going down is not necessarily easier than going up here. Yeah, so probably 5 hours to spend in this valley. Then after that, take down your stuff and put your backpack on, because you don't want to carry your backpack up and down the valley, right? And I mean, no one wants to carry 2 backpacks out of the park anyways, you're safe. Then from Italiano, 2 more hours and 6.5 more kilometers to Refugio Cuernos, night number 3. Day number 4. Day number 4, from Cuernos all the way up to Torres. And this is going to be probably the heaviest day of the walk. Yeah, we're going to do more or less 7 hours of walking, but the reason why this is the heaviest day is because it's going up. And I mean, day number 4 is for most people the day that they finally start to enjoy themselves, right? Day number 1 is always tough. Day number 2 is even tougher than that because your feet hurt and your backpack hurt and it's all heavy and it's heavy. Day number 3, you start like adjusting yourself to your backpack, and day number 4 is when you finally really start enjoying yourself. Well, that's great. Some positive energy there is very welcome, because I mean, you get ready to leave, and not even a minute out of camp, there you go, bam, up. Okay, you go up and up and up and up and up, and you get to the top, and I mean, it's not funny because you already see, bam, up, and there you go again, you go up and up and up, and after that it evens out a little bit, nothing too crazy. You keep on going for 2 hours, you get yourself to a little sign which will say, well, not a little sign, a sign this big, no one will miss it, shortcut to Chileno. And, well, 2 types of people. Some people are like, yes, the shortcut is great, we'll have to walk less. And some people are going to be thinking, shortcut, not sure, I kind of want to see everything, right? So if you're one of those people, what you're going to see if you don't take the shortcut is you're going to walk down here, and you're going to end up at the hotel. Which means you are going to see people with rolling suitcases and umbrellas. I assume that none of you are very interested in that, so my suggestion is take a shortcut. Yeah, shortcut will bring you towards Refugio Chileno, which is the direction you want to go in the first place. So, you see the shortcut and you're like, yes, I mean, we're getting closer, we're already at the lake, this is great. And you start walking, and when you arrive at the shortcut, this is when you realize why I told you it's going to be the heaviest stage. From there, you'll start going up, and up, and up, and up, all the way to Campamento Torres. This means after 2 hours of walking up, the shortcut will spit you out more or less at Refugio Chileno. Refugio Chileno is a beautiful refugio. I mean, waterfall in the back, big river running through the middle, horses on the side, green grass, colorful tents, I mean, all of that, right? Really, really nice. People with a beer in front of the refugio, it's really nice. And imagine now, there you are. You were hiking up this huge hill. You're sweaty and stinky, and the wind changed just while you were peeing, and now you're smelly and like wet and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us, but you arrive at the refugio and you're probably pretty ready for a break, right? So what happens, take off your backpack, sit there, enjoy the views and everything, and you see someone going in the refugio and they walk out with a beer. Like, yeah, well, whatever, I'm strong, I don't need that. And then the second one, and then the third one, you're like, okay, I'm going. And the problem with refugios is they make you take off your shoes. Which means anybody going into this refugio is never gonna leave again. Right? So, my suggestion is if you're not planning on staying there, don't go in, keep on walking and take your break somewhere else. Right? Arriving at Camp de Torres after an hour and a half later, you will set up your tent, have your breaks and have everything you want, and call it a night over there. Remember, this is the campsite where you need a reservation for, right? Night number 4, reservation for Camp de Torres. The main reason for me to go to Camp de Torres is because of the next morning. Next morning, I recommend seeing the sunrise at the base of the towers, right? Sunrise is before it's light out, which means that if you stay at Chileno and you want to do the sunrise, you have to walk those hour and a half extra on top of the walk to the base of the towers before sunlight. This is the reason for me to spend the night in Las Torres. This means if you're not planning on seeing the sunrise, you can spend the night in Chileno and there's no problem at all. Yeah? So, I like to spend the night at Las Torres because I do like to go and see the sunrise. Highly recommend it. And then you arrive at Torres and you're probably pretty tired because you worked up all day. And you're excited for the next day because the next day is going to be the base of the towers in sunrise. Which means go to bed early, set your alarm clock. Probably, sunrise right now is around, I would say, 6 o'clock. Yeah? Ish. Don't worry, at every refugio campsite there's a ranger who will tell you the exact time. But for this talk, let's just say 6 o'clock in the morning. Campsite is an hour away from that. Which means you have to start walking at like 5 o'clock. Which means probably your alarm clock is going to be set at like 4:45. Yeah? Let's be optimistic. 4:45 we set our alarm clock. And next morning, I don't know about you guys, but I wake up at 4:45, alarm clock goes off. Not so excited anymore. There we go. Snooze. 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 Then I see 5 o'clock hitting the alarm screen. And when I see 5, I'm like, oh no, I have to be walking right now. And I jump up, open the zip for my sleeping bag, open the zip for my tent, stick my face out of the tent, and snow falls in. It's raining on my face. Used to be a tree in front of my tent. I can't see the tree anymore. It's all cloudy and white, and it's cold outside. Your tent is going like, it's really bad. It's bad weather. Most people at this point are gonna close their zipper and go back to their sleeping bag. I don't know how you guys think, but in my opinion, you traveled from wherever you live all the way to Patagonia. Then get yourself to the park, then hike up this huge hill, sleep as close as you possibly can to the base of the towers to see the sunrise. Don't go back to sleep and not see the sunrise. It will be horrible. If you go back to sleep, all those other people woke up, and after an hour and a half, you wake up because everybody comes down, woo, yeah, oh, and they have an awesome sunrise. Yeah, you're in Patagonia. The weather you have at camp does not necessarily have anything to do with the weather it is an hour later at a different place, right? So my suggestion is, go for it, yeah? See what you have. Some people are lucky, some people are not lucky. There's no way of telling that really ahead. So my suggestion is, get your lazy butt out of your tent, start walking. This means it's cold outside. Yeah, let's say it is actually that bad weather and you open your tent and you're okay, she told me to tough it up, here I go. You go base layer pants, ski pants, rain pants, jacket, blah blah blah, all the stuff. And you start walking, and after 5 minutes out of the camp, you will start walking up. For about 45 degrees, 45 minutes long. This means probably after 5 minutes, there goes your rain jacket, and you tie it on a tree because you don't need it anymore. You're hiking up a hill. And then 5 minutes after that, there goes your down jacket, and you tuck it below the rock. You don't need it anymore, you keep on going. And after more than half an hour, you start a little late, you woke up at 5 instead of start walking at 5, so after half an hour or 40 minutes, you already hear people, woo, wow, you're like, oh no, I'm late. You start running up the hill, right? You're getting really quick right now. This means when you arrive at the base of the towers, you probably have been running up a hill, you're soaking wet in almost your underwear because, you're getting warm. You get there and wow, beautiful towers, start just coloring everybody around, you're hugging, crying, kissing, all that kind of stuff. And 2 minutes long in awe of these beautiful towers. But after 2 minutes, you look around and you start realizing that you're actually standing there in about your underwear with your ankles in the snow. It's windy, it's raining on there, it might be very bad weather, and you're standing there without, you had a granola bar. So there you go, throw down your stuff, set up your tent, change to your nice dry clothes, wear your Gore-Tex, and then get yourself to cook dinner. And And for dinner, people like to go with pasta, rice, or mashed potato powder, right? 3 very easy things. You can find them anywhere. If you're a big fan of, like, I don't know, you can find some couscous sometimes or anything like this. But these are very basic things, and you can find them anywhere in town. Then you want some sauce with this. And if you look for pasta sauce or rice sauce, you're gonna find these bags in town which will say bolognese or champignon or olive oil, like stuff like that, right? There's all kinds of different bags with different sauces. They don't taste bad or something. It's not, I mean, they don't taste great, but it's also not that bad. So people are like, okay, I'm gonna eat 5 dinners, so 5 of those bags. These bags weigh 200 grams a bag. This means if you carry 5 of these, that means that you are carrying in the park a kilo of liquid pasta sauce. Becomes a lot really quick, right? So my suggestion is, since I don't like them that much in the first place and they're heavy, instead of that, I like to bring soups. And there you are, she go again. She with her soups. It's kind of strange. Well, hold on a second. These soups are just bags of powdered something. It will say add 1 liter of water, but instead of adding a liter of water, I throw in there half a liter of water, which means I end up with a very thick soup, which is just a sauce. And since I now cut down on a kilo of liquid sauce in my backpack, I like to throw in there some stuff to throw in my sauce. Maybe an actual salami, which by itself weighs 200 grams, and you can cut a little bit up in every meal. You can throw, I mean, if you're a big vegetable person, you can actually bring an onion. A quarter of onion in every meal you have, I mean, is, for me, totally worth it. I love the camping part of trekking. I think it's a great thing. Cook actual food. You can bring garlic, for example. It's really light and small, and it gives a lot of taste to your food. Just bring some stuff to actually make yourself food, and not just eat because you're hungry kind of thing. But that's at least what I do for dinners. Then there is, and this is very important as well for food, dessert. And it sounds a little strange and a little like a luxury, but it really is not. You're going to arrive at camp at 5:30, which means you had your dinner at 6. It doesn't get dark here before 10:30. What happens for camping most of the time, people hang out until it gets dark, and when it gets dark, people go to bed at 10, they go to sleep. But in most places in the world, at like 8 or 9, it's getting dark and you're fine. But if you go to bed at 10:30 or 11 o'clock, it's been 4 hours since you've eaten anything. You're going to arrive in your tent and you find the snack bag for tomorrow. I don't know what your snack bag, but my snack bag is not going to make tomorrow at that point, right? I'm going to start eating already. So my suggestion is bring something for at night. This can be anything you like. This can be a bar of chocolate just to cut out 1 or 2 pieces a night and you'll be fine as well. Yeah, just bring something. Then, for all this stuff, my recommendation is make a list. I don't want to sound like your mom, but it's a very good idea. You're traveling in another country where you don't know what you should bring, and everything looks delicious, so you'll end up with a whole bunch of stuff you don't need, and you forgot the sugar, right? So making a list is definitely going to help you out. And if you make a list, start taking it down the street. The street's called Patagonia. If you follow down for 5 blocks, you're going to find the Unimark. And, I mean, here you're going to find probably anything you need, right? But when this came in town, the first 2 weeks, everyone was cheering. We're like, yay, Unimark, we're a real town now, we have a Unimark. But, well, it took us 2 weeks to realize that when you get an actual supermarket in a town, that little mom and pop stores kind of die. Yeah, they cannot compare with the big Unimark. So my suggestion is, make your list. Write down all the stuff that you want. Start walking towards the Unimark, but on your way, stop and jump into all the little stores. Yeah, maybe go into the first one and you buy your sugar, because they don't sell anything else in there. You're like, okay, well, there you go. And you cross the next one and you buy the pasta and the I don't know, soup and chocolate, right? And you cross the street again, and the next one you buy coffee and tea, and the next one you can hop up the streets for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, you arrive at the actual Unimark with already 90% of your list. Last 10% you buy in the Unimark, and you're done in an hour with supporting the local economy, which I think is a very good idea. Yeah? Then, take a look around who's sitting here. Because you are all, in probably 1 hour, going to meet each other again. You're all going shopping, right? So instead of saying hi, when people see someone they recognize, people tend to hide. Like, oh no, they see me, yes or no, say hi, don't say hi, a little awkward, no one knows really what to say. So when you see someone and you think you recognize the person, in my opinion, you walk up to the person and you'll be like, hey, remember me from 3 o'clock? No. Well, anyway, I see that you just bought a kilo of sugar. You probably don't need that all, huh? And you split. If we split a kilo of sugar, both of us are still stuck with half a kilo of sugar. What are you going to do with all that stuff? You don't need that, right? So maybe I buy a roll of garbage bags, she buys a kilo of sugar, and he buys 35 tea bags, right? All of us can split, and everybody ends up with exactly what they need, spending less money, making less garbage, which is good for everybody. Which actually gets me to garbage. In the park, you're gonna find garbage cans. These garbage cans are not there for you, right? These are for the people who actually live in the refugios. If you're tough enough to carry your garbage into the park, you're tough enough to carry it out of the park. Yeah? So, carry it in, carry it out is definitely the way to go, but this also means prepare your garbage. Yeah, for example, some people like to eat night one, let's say, pasta with a tuna sauce. Yeah, these tin cans of tuna. To me, they're pretty heavy, so if I bring them, I will eat them day number one so I can get them out of my backpack, right? So, if I eat them day number one, this means I open them up, throw them in there, and I'm thinking I'm all smart, but when I clean up after my food, I'll find this tin canister, this tin can, super sharp, smelling like tuna. If I'm going to put this in my garbage bag, this means the entire rest of the week I'm going to carry this smelly piece of plastic with all kinds of cuts from a tin can, and my backpack will look like a giant garbage bag smelling like tuna, right? Not that much fun. So my suggestion is, if you're planning on bringing anything like that, just buy Ziploc bags. Open up your tuna in town, throw it in a Ziploc bag, zip it up, bring it like that. This means day number one, because it's still heavy, you throw it in your food, wash out your Ziploc bag, and this Ziploc bag might save actually your life while your milk powder bag broke, right? Just bring stuff that's not necessarily garbage into the park. That's definitely good for everybody. Then, I think that's more or less everything. Is there any questions about any of this? Yes?
How do you prevent from animals getting into your food?
We don't really have that problem.
We read
only,
several things online about
yes,
mice.
Yes. Only just before winter, mice actually go around, but they don't look for food. They look for stuff to make their nests, which is your tent. It's great material. So there's no way you can stop them doing that because they're actually looking for your tent. They're not looking for your food. There's plenty of food for them. There's lots of berries. Of course, you leave your dishes in front of your tent. You put food in a plate for them. It's just as easy for them to eat that as a berry. But if they have to dig through your tent, through your backpack, through your plastic bag, there's way more easy food for them that they don't care if it's chocolate or berries or whatever. So there shouldn't be a problem this time of year.
What time of year is that normally a problem?
Just end of the season, like totally end of the season. Right now you're in the end of the high season, but towards April, that's when you get towards the end of April, that's when you get a little more of that problem.
Can you charge batteries pretty much everywhere?
Refugios of electricity.
Yeah, when you go to circle?
Refugios only.
Okay.
Yeah, nowhere else.
So, but you said the actual one of the campsites was like a refugio, and even had
The paid campsites. Yeah, the paid campsites. You shouldn't count on it.
Yeah, but they might.
They might, yes. If they have it, it's nice, but they don't have like generators or something. It's really just whatever. If the sun's shining, they do, and if the sun's not shining, they don't.
So how many days do you suggest for the circuit?
Well, my recommendation is take as much time as you possibly can because the park is beautiful. You don't want to walk quick, I think. The circuit, if you do the whole queue, I always like to go in 10 days. 9 nights, 10 days. But you can totally do this in 7 nights, 8 days. Yeah, somewhere in between that is normal. Cool. Any other questions? Okay, well then I want to make everybody of you aware that below the pizza sign we have a little wooden box on the wall, and this is us saving some money for some good causes. The one furthest away from me is for the street dogs. Yeah, we are trying to fix all the street cats and street dogs because if you get 80% fixed, you can get an animal shelter, and that would be awesome. So if you have some money left over, can help us out with that. One more to this side is the Torres del Paine Legacy Fund. This is there for tourists who want to leave money behind to plant trees in the park and do that kind of stuff. So if you have money left over for that, you can leave it in there. We'll make sure it gets to the person for the Legacy Fund. One more to this side is our recycling program. Right here, Erratic Rock and Base Camp is a recycle depot. This means, first of all, if you have glass bottles or plastic bottles or cardboard, you can bring it here so we can actually recycle it. That will be a great help already. But if you have any money left over for that, it will be awesome because we need to transport it to the actual places where it gets recycled. So also be very welcome. Then one more to this side, the last one is for me. A little tip jar. If you like what I do, you can leave something in there. It's also a very good cause. But yeah, that's everything I have to say. If you have any more questions, me and my colleague over there, Koen, can help you out with any questions you have as well. Rentals over there with Koen. Is any of you looking for a trekking partner? Get time to raise your hands. You can find some after the talk to each other, do shopping together. Okay, cool. Well, try to meet up, and I would say everybody have fun, get ready, and enjoy.
Thanks very much.